Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sidlingmurthy SM, Head of the Department of Botany, ADB First Grade College, Harapnalli, which is coming under VV Sangha, Ballari. Dear students, this is the last video class in the plant physiology paper. So a small portion is left over, that is plant movements. So I want to give you information about the plant movements. Hope you all prepared well, whatever the syllabus which is covered earlier. In fact, plant movements is a big topic. Several types of movements are there, and you all know that in the syllabus only the tropic movements are included. So now I am going to tell you briefly about all type of movements in detail about the tropic movements, because the examination point of view as well as it is mentioned in the syllabus. So I will go in detail only about the tropic movements. Okay, so let us start now. Yes, plant movements. We know already the meaning of movements. Movement means just going from one place to the other place. So probably you are thinking that plants do not move, they are fixed. Even though the entire plant do not move from one place to the other place, there is a movement of the plant parts. You might observe the branch move or curve towards the light, towards the ground, and even towards the air. So even though the entire plant body do not move in many cases, but there is a movement of plant parts. And you know that some microscopic plants, they move. They have some cilia or flagella, they can swim and they move from one place to the other place. So this is how, like animals, there is a possibility of movement in plants also. So as far as the definition of plant movement is concerned, so moving of a plant or a plant part or cell or the cytoplasm from one place to the other place can be called as a plant movement. There are different types of movements. Movements of locomotion, movements of curvature, and the third one is hygroscopic movements. Students, in your syllabus, what included, that is tropic movements, comes under movements of curvature. Anyhow, just to enrich your knowledge, I will cover all these types of plant movements, but the types which are not included in the syllabus I will tell you briefly, and I go in detail about the movements which are included in your syllabus. Movements of locomotion. So here, as the word says locomotion, it is moving. So the plant, particularly the microscopic plants or the gametes or the plant organs, maybe pots, they move from one place to the other place. They are not fixed. So that type of movement we call it as movements of locomotion. And this locomotion of small plants or the plant products involve because of inner action or some external influence. So accordingly, there are two types of movements of locomotion. Spontaneous, you can understand. Spontaneous means autonomic, something force that occur inside the plant organ or the cell, so that will help in the locomotion. Paratonic or induced movements, otherwise called tactic movements. So here some external influence will be there. So because of that external stimulus, there is movement. So this is how we find autonomic and paratonic movements. So let us see what are the different types of spontaneous movements, otherwise autonomic movements. Ciliary movements. Students, you have studied in the first sem, for example, Chlamydomonas, volvox, etc. Some of these unicellular algae, they have cilia. So they swim in water with the help of cilia. Even bacteria also. So with the help of hair-like structures, cilia or flagella, so these unicellular organisms particularly, they swim in water and move from one place to the other place. So this we call it as what? ciliary movement. Amoeboid movement, you know easily. So how the amoeba moves just by spreading its body. So exactly like that, certain yeasts and some fungi, they gradually move and disappear from a particular place. So that type of a spreading type of locomotion, we call it as what? Amoeboid movement. In simple meaning, movement just like a amoeba. Cyclosis. So you know that plant cell contain the cytoplasm. In higher plants, cytoplasm is present surrounding the central vacuole, and that cytoplasm is not static, instead it is moving. The cytoplasm moves surrounding the vacuole. So this movement of cytoplasm in a cell is often called as cytoplasmic streaming or cyclosis. It is of two kinds. So in case of rotation, what happens? The cytoplasm moves either clockwise or anti-clockwise surrounding usually a single vacuole. In case of circulation, there are several vacuoles and cytoplasm move in both clockwise and anti-clockwise around several vacuoles. So that is called as circulation. So this is how cytoplasmic streaming is of two kinds, that is rotation and circulation. Second one, that is under the locomotion only, paratonic, otherwise called as induced movements, tactic movements, also known as what? Taxis. First one, photoactive movements or phototaxis. Sometimes what happens in a water, if light ray enters or if a particular part of the water get illuminated, to that light region the gametes and other water aquatic cells will move there. So that light influenced movement, we call it as phototaxis. Chemotactic movements, chemotaxis. Students, you may be remembering, in case of the bryophytes and pteridophytes, I used to say that a particular type of anthrozoid reach the particular archegonia of a same species or a particular species. So there is a chemical attraction between the anthrozoid and archegonia of the same species. So this attraction by the chemical or movement of the gametes because of the chemicals, we call it as what? Chemotaxis. Similarly, if there is a movement of gametes or the cells under the influence of heat, we call it as what? Thermotaxis. Then let us come to the second type of plant movement, that is called as movement of curvature. Unlike the locomotion, here the entire cell or the entire plant will not move, only the parts of the plant, it may be a branch or the leaves or the flower or the floral parts, show a sort of movement, nothing but bending or curvature. So organs just move from the central axis. So that is nothing but what? Movement of curvature. Again, this curvature movement is of same kinds as we discussed in the first case, spontaneous and induced. So here also we can same thing, spontaneous, otherwise the autonomic movements of curvature, and second one is paratonic movement of curvature. So this curvature movement is due to some kind of influence. In case of autonomic curvature, so here influence appears inside the plant. For example, there is one type called variation. There is a plant called Desmodium, otherwise telegraph plant. Something interesting. Here it is a pinnately compound leaf. There are 4 leaflets on either side and one large leaf at the tip. The first 2 leaves present, they show 90-degree movement. That means they come up, and even they go down, that is 180 degree. So this type of movement is seen in case of Desmodium, that is we call it as a telegraph plant. Growth. So during growth also there will be a curvature. So hyponastic and epinastic movements we particularly find in case of the floral pots. Hypo, as the name itself says, growth occurs at the lower side more. So in birds you find that calyx cover the flower completely. How it is possible? Because of more curvature at the lower side. So the lower side curves more so that the calyx cover the flower completely. Epinastic curvature is more at the growth is more at the upper part. For example, in the upper part of the flower, maybe sepals or petals, if growth occurs or curvature occurs, what happens? Flower opens. So this is how closing of the bud formation or covering of the floral parts is due to hyponastic curvature, and opening up of the flower due to epinastic curvature. Nutational means zigzag. The curvature occurs one side left side and other time on the right side. So zigzag movement of the plant axis is nothing but nutational. Circumnutational, it is some kind of rotation, just like a round circle the curvature is same. So these are the autonomic movements. Influence appears inside the plant only. Now we shall come to the main portion, paratonic movements of curvature. Paratonic, as you know that it is an induced movement. Something induces here, stimulates the movement or the curvature. So under the paratonic, again we find two types, as in first case, variation and growth. So here first let us discuss about the growth, then later on about variation. So this portion is there for your syllabus and you have to write these 7. So variation, I will discuss this variation afterwards. Now first let me tell you about growth, tropic movements, otherwise tropism. So remember, there are several type of movements in the plant body. Plant movement that include only the curvature, that is part of the plant moves, and that too under the influence of certain factor. So that type of movements or the curvature or the growth which is induced by certain factors is called as a tropical movement, otherwise called as tropism. So look at the spelling here, it is not PH, it gives different meaning. Tropic means movement, here it is called as tropic movement. So in higher plants, what are the different types of tropic movements are? Let us discuss these. So in total there are 7: geotropism, phototropism, thigmotropism, and so on. Geotropism, movement of the plant parts towards the earth or towards the ground. So that you know. Example, roots. So roots of the plants move towards the ground. So as I discussed already in the hormone topic, so this geotropism is due to the effect of auxins. So later I will tell you how exactly it occurs with the help of diagram. Phototropism, movement of the plant parts towards the source of sunlight, and this is again due to the effect of auxin. So here auxins will influence geotropism and phototropism. Thigmotropism. So here what happens? You can guess or expect what is the stimulus here. Yes, the stimulus is contact. So when a plant organ comes in contact with certain object, what happens? The plant organ move towards that object. So several tendril plants are there. When the tendril comes in contact with an object, maybe a branch or something else, it coils around that support and thereby help the plant to climb. So this movement of the plant organ towards the contact is said to be what? Thigmotropism. Hydrotropism, yes, the meaning of hydro is water. So some plants, particularly the seedlings, the radicals show movement towards the water. So if you put some sawdust with water, then what happens if you put the seeds there? When the seed starts germinating, the radical that comes will show movement towards the water. So that movement of the plant organ towards the source of water is called as what? Hydrotropism. Then chemotropism. Again, you can guess the meaning. What is chemo? Chemical. So if the plant parts move towards the chemical, it is called as what? Chemotropism. So for example, in case of pollination, pollen grain, after reaching the stigma, what it forms? It forms a tube. we call it as a pollen tube. How the pollen tube grows? So that pollen tube grows towards the source of chemicals. So like that, the movement of the pollen tube is an example for chemotropism. Thermo, yes, temperature, heat. So when the plant organ move towards the heat, then it is called as what? Thermotropism. Particularly the growing plant, in some cases, particularly shoot, where the temperature reaches, there you will find the movement. Aerotropism, that is movement of the plant towards the air. In fact, the thermotropism and aerotropism, so naturally they are very less. In laboratory experiments during culture, we will find these two things, that is movement towards the temperature and movement towards the air. So naturally these two are very rare. So this is how these five very important. So I will explain at the end with the help of diagram also. So you will have to write the diagram also in case if you are writing these tropic movements for 10 more questions. So lastly, these nastic movements or variation. So it is interesting, even though it is not there in the syllabus. Students, you might have observed that some plants, particularly oxalis and some species of cassia, during night time what happens? The leaflets close. Daytime the leaflets kept open. So here the influence is what? Sunlight. So in case of tropic movements, what happens? The curvature is towards one side, unidirectional. But in case of nastic movements, it is multidirectional. That is the main difference. So if it is unidirectional, that is called as tropic movements. If that curvature is multidirectional, then it is called as what? Nastic movements. So under the influence of light, the leaflets close either towards downside or towards the upper side. You might have observed some plants, cassia, oxalis, where what happens? The leaflets move up and they close. So that is called as nyctinastic movements. Movements because of light. Seismonastic movements, mimosa, you can guess. Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant. Often children play with that plant. Just their touch is, the leaflets close. So here influence is what? Touch. So when the influence is touch in bryophytum and mimosa, what happens? The leaflets close. So mimosa is an example for seismonastic movements. Thigmonastic, again contact. In Drosera, you heard this plant. In the 5th sem, Drosera, sundew, if an insects reach the plant, the tentacles cover up and thereby the insect get digested and absorbed. So here contact, when the insect comes in contact, all the tentacles will move in at different directions. So therefore, this type of nastic movement is called as what? Thigmonastic movements. So the last one, hygroscopic movement, it is very simple. Compared to the first two, this is something different. Here movement is not by the living cells, it is by dead cells. For example, you know, elaters you come across in Markensia. In the second semester you learnt peristromal teeth in funaria. These are the dead things. So here what happens? These cells are the parts of the plant. They show either expansion or contraction depending upon the availability of moisture. So when elaters comes in contact with water, they swell up and they help in dispersal of spores. Peristromal teeth, they lose water, they contract and they help in the formation of gap between the teeth and thereby the spores are liberated. So this is how these hygroscopic movements, we call it as hygroscopic movements, as we find in case of lower plants particularly. So now you see, as I said already, geotropism in maize, so radical moving downward. Clinostat we did already in the practical class, so you can nullify the geotropic movements by using a clinostat. This you already performed in the laboratory. And I told you that how the auxins are responsible for geotropism. You can see when the root, it is the root tip auxin. So what happens when you keep the root horizontally? So there is more accumulation of auxins than the upper side. So it has inhibitory effect. Upper part grow more. So as a result, curvature occurs. And yes, we can guess this is nothing but phototropic chamber, clearly demonstrate phototropism. This is a source of light, a small window like structure is there, so the plant bend towards the source of light. And again here the phototropism, auxins are responsible. So because of the light, what happens, more auxins are accumulated here, that is on the shaded side. But in case of stem, more concentration auxins have negative effect, as I said already. So lower auxins, low auxins here on the light side. So therefore what happens here, curvature occurs towards the source of light. So this is how thigmotropism, this tendril come in contact with the object. So tendril is not going this side, it is going towards the source of contact. So that is about thigmotropism. And this is hydrotropism. See, radicals bend towards the water. So these are the diagrams for the tropic movements. If the question is asked for 5 marks, students, you have to draw the diagrams. Okay, so that's all about the plant movements. Well students, so that's all about the plant movements. So with this everything is over in plant physiology. I hope you have the previous question papers. You can refer those question papers also, how the questions appear in the examination. So in the plant physiology topic, as usual you will find 2 marks, 5 marks and 10 mark question. Particularly this plant movements, you can expect an essay question for 10 marks, all the complete types of plant movements, whatever we have discussed, particularly tropic movements only. Okay, that you have to cover, or else they can ask any a few types for 5 or 2 marks. So you can go through the previous question papers, and you can go through the notes also, whatever I serve to you, and even these video classes also. So prepare well and wish you all the best. Stay home, stay happy and be healthy. All the best. Thank you.